See what's in my backyard? Hey guys, welcome to OregonWine.tv. My name is Wayne. This is Trent Moffett from Moffett Vineyards. You know, I've got so many choices of winemakers and vineyards and wineries to visit on a wine tour. But what I like about Trent is his story from Napa to here. The wines are stellar. And Trent, say hi to everybody.
Greetings.
Greetings and salutations. Yeah. So this is a vineyard up here called...
This is the Terra Rosa Vineyard up in the Dundee Hills.
And it's something that you lease out?
I do, yeah. It's two different parcels. There's a 2.6 acre vineyard that I lease, and most important thing of farming is being able to control it for making the right styles of wine.
And you can see there's the vineyard workers are actually in here doing a little bit of pruning right now. Probably what are they doing? Shoot positioning?
They're doing some positioning, looking at the spacing, making sure any suckers are off right now. We just finished tilling in some of this, so they're going to actually do a little shovel work around the bases also.
Excellent.
But yeah, right now it's all about making sure that we have the proper spacing, and you know, clusters are on there.
Clusters are on there. When do you think about now? When will they be flowering roughly?
We still have probably 3 weeks or so, and maybe a little bit more, and then once that happens, we'll have about 100 days until harvest.
Right, and this is like the Corvid grape crop right here. It's just this whole time that we're living through right now is just crazy. I haven't been up here as often as I have been because of this whole thing, and the tours are starting to book now, so this is getting better. And so Trent, just really quick, tell me about your history, especially about your father, you know, buying that house in Napa. You know, that's such a great thing.
It was pretty amazing. He was a geologist in oil and gas exploration, and was going up to work with Jordan of Jordan Winery. And when he was driving through the Napa Valley, found this old property for sale. The house was built in the 1860s, the winery back in the 1880s. And it was a bank foreclosing auction, and my dad was the only guy to show up.
Dude.
So
right,
unbelievable.
Right.
You know? I mean, who would think that back then, and that was in 1976.
Right.
So it wasn't, the Napa Valley wasn't as discovered yet. You know, the Judgment of Paris was just about to happen, but hadn't happened yet. So his timing was perfect. They showed up, and he was the only guy there. They canceled the auction, and which is illegal, because if you have somebody there to bid,
right, you
have to bid. And so he got pissed. He stayed a week and got a lawyer, showed up a week later, and he was still the only guy to show up. And then they had a lawyer. He's like, it's mine.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
how old was the house and the property?
That was in the 1860s. Wow. Yeah, 1868.
So
old farmhouse.
Here you are, a young kid growing up in an old farmhouse in Napa Valley.
Right.
That must have been pretty exciting.
Pretty fun. You know, we no heat, no TVs, a lot of work in the vineyards, a lot of cutting wood to keep the house warm in the winter. But yeah, it was pretty amazing.
So basically, you grew up in a vineyard. This is your life.
Yeah.
You know, this is what you've always done. And Napa got expensive. Your dad, you know, you couldn't afford to buy your father out. You moved up here and started your passion for Pinot, but you still make a little bit of wine in Napa.
Yeah.
Which I love. My people love this on their tours because you have some Cabs and some Merlots and some Syrahs.
Yeah.
So it's in Grenache too.
It's hard to just leave your roots. So
right,
it's always good to kind of keep some of that story involved.
Excellent.
And I don't do a lot, but yeah, just doing enough that it keeps my mail list and people happy. And but I love it up here. I've 4 different vineyards around the Willamette Valley, and you know, doing some pretty fun things. So
awesome. Well, let's go inside and let's open up a bottle of wine. Let's talk about it for a minute, and we'll dive into this a little bit more. Hey guys, so Trent here makes several different wines, and from several different AVAs and different vineyards. So Trent, real quick, tell us about the different kind of wines you make, and then we'll talk about his Napa project as well.
Yeah, so I moved up here in 2014, and the first thing to really explore was why are all these sub-appellations defined and what makes them different. So I sought out different vineyards from these different appellations and to learn about them and to try to better understand what Oregon had to offer. So one of my first things I wanted to do immediately was do a rosé. And rosé of Pinot Noir for me is just a slice of heaven.
Rosés are great, especially dry rosés.
Yes, dry, crisp. So I have used to drink a lot of Robert Sinskys, and I really wanted to do the best I could to make one like that. And so bone dry. It's an acre contract because we crop it a little heavier and get that off early, and that's up in the Yamhill Carlton. And then, well, this is my Dundee Hills, but my Chardonnay has moved to the Malloris Vineyard, which is in the Chehalis Mountains. And again, going for clean, crisp, it's barrel fermented, but then at the same time we move it out into stainless steel for a good 10 months to bring in that minerality.
Almost like a Chablis.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
not overly oak, and that's one thing. I'm a huge fan of oak. I love 100% ML wines from Napa. I love ththose wines. But up here in the Willamette Valley, it's cooler, more crisp acidity, and you don't want to push it too much with the oak.
Without a doubt.
Right.
So, and then these are 3 different single vineyard and different appellation wines. The Eola Amity is known more for its marine sediments, and so I have the Blue M. Then the Monk's Gate is a Yamhill Carlton that is a little more clay in the soil, so a little more of that brown M. And then we're sitting in the Red Hills of Dundee, my Terra Rosa vineyard, and then that's where the Red M. So these are about 125 case production on each of them, and they're all single vineyard and different appellations.
So Trent's going to learn how to make a little bit more money by making more wine. But to put it in perspective, 125 cases, guys, it's 5 barrels. That's nothing. You know, I mean, it's something, but in the scheme of things, it's a very small. What's your overall production with all your wines in the Willamette Valley?
With the current lease, just with the Willamette Valley, I'm right now at about 900 cases,
okay.
and that's with 7 different wines.
All right.
And then with my Napa products, it adds just a couple more 100 cases. So.
Excellent. And yet quickly, so he does Grenache from Napa. And dude, my heart, I know I live here, I love Oregon Pinot, but sometimes there's nothing like a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. But of course, what, 2 barrels? 50 cases?
Yep. Yeah, 54 cases.
50 cases.
So both of those are aged for 3 years in barrels, so it's a long barrel age on both of them. The 16s are the current release. Matter of fact, the Cabernet isn't released yet.
Right.
So.
See, when you grew up in Napa, you have contacts because your friends, you grew up with all your friends that are in the business. So that's always a plus, you know, moving up here and still having that thread of your life is still a little bit attached by the hip to Napa Valley, which I think is great.
Which is
all right.
important.
Tell me about your Chard. Beautiful color.
So Chardonnay is actually one of the bottles that's not on here. This is my reserve Chardonnay with the Wente clone out of the Malloris Vineyard in the Chehalis Mountains. And this is trying to preserve the nice tropical fruit of it. This is a 2018 reserve Chard. So I did, this was about 75 case production. It was a little over 3 barrels. So, but real tropical fruit. The Wente clone has those chicks and hens, which means the grape clusters have a normal looking grape, but then they have the little tiny berries also that don't have seeds in them. So those get really ripe and bring out a pineapple, banana, kind of tropical.
He nailed it.
Aroma.
Pineapple, a little bit of caramel on the finish, but the banana, the little coconutty. It's just I love Willamette Valley Chardonnay. I love this Chardonnay. Excellent.
Fantastic.
Well done. All right. Talk about some Pinot.
So the Pinot we poured in the glass here is actually a blend of the 3 vineyards, another one of the wines I make. Part of the fun is you're bringing in all those different components. Blending is so important when it comes to making wine. And so this is actually barrels from each of my largest production, which is about 200 cases.
Okay. And up here in the Willamette Valley, guys, we're very clone-centric. Not so much in California or any other, I don't even think any other place in the world. Even in Burgundy, France, where these grapes originated. But here in the Willamette Valley, you talk about the Dijon clones, 113, 114, 115, the Pommard clone, the Curry clone, the Baudensville clone. It's just interesting.
And the neat thing about that is you also have all your suitcase clones, where heirloom clones that people don't know exactly where it came from. So that clone takes on the name of the vineyard, just like this Wente Chardonnay. That was named after the Wente family that started Wente Vineyards in Livermore. And they brought it over in the 1880s, and we're not exactly sure where those cuttings came from, so it took on the name Wente.
Right. Yeah, pretty cool. What vintage is this one here?
It's a 2016.
16.
Yep.
Guys, we're going off some banner vintages. The weather here in the Willamette Valley can be consistently inconsistent. I know it doesn't make sense to some of you, but every vintage is a challenge. And when you talk about 7, 11, 13, the cold vintages, high acidity, low alcohol, then we came into those 5 or 6 years in a row. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and 19.
Well, 19 was the cool one. That was the fun part for me, is I've been waiting for this. So I got here in 14 where it was hot.
Right.
14 through 18, we had these beautiful warm climates. And I'm like, well, there's not a whole lot of difference going on here. I mean, I'm working with a different varietal, but we're getting all the sun. First couple of storms come in, I freaked out originally, as you would from Napa. Like,
right.
Oh my God, we have to pick. And they're like, we're going to have 2 or 3 of them. It's okay. You know,
Right.
like, okay, breathe. Yeah, you get through that. But then in 19, we never rebounded off of those bricks. So I did the barrel tasting this last Friday with some of those, with some customers, and they're gorgeous. They're red, they're racy, they're vibrant.
Right.
So it's a different style than what we're drinking.
The 16s, you have bramble, you have a little bit of berry, crushed fruit. They're just beautifully integrated, and it's got that nice long finish. So I'll put Trent's information here on our website. The wines are available. Give him a shout out. He's got a wine club. Everybody's got a wine club these days, which I think is great. Direct to consumer. COVID-19 pretty much made everybody buy a lot of wine on the couch.
That's for
and
sure.
Yeah, that's the truth.
House
man.
wines.
I'm guilty of that as well. Yeah,
We went through a couple
Cheers.
even at your house.
Right, we did. But it's all been great. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time with a different winemaker. Cheers to all.
Cheers.